Syracuse actually end up losing.
Well, and that was my worry about the Torb. Again, it's a fast ult. You can build ult really fast, and Torb is
Yeah.
actually hard to isolate if they're playing far back. And, you know, the story of that first round was really, I mean, Molten Core comes out, but not only that, the turret was out and the damage from, I mean, Torb's primary fire just made it too difficult for Hating Father to meaningfully take space. And so Ashland was able to just control the point.
Now they're going to look to keep it with the momentum. Syracuse want to stop them in their tracks, and to do it, they're going to have the Blizzard, they're going to have the JQ ult, and they're going to have the Lucio ult. The overclock is on its way, but in response, Chanso has his ult, the OW2. Blizzard's going to come out from Lunar, looking to get massive value. The Ramantra's going to be frozen. Can they find the kill? They can. Law able to finish him off. The Cole's going to come out from Mora. Not going to find too much value off of that. We are in a 4v4. Both tanks are down. It is a squishy battle. Azer pops that overclock and baits out the beat from Lucio. Big pops an overclock of their own. Vasuki able to find the kill onto Lunar, and Law stuck in no man's land. Syracuse is gonna have to regroup.
And that just breaks my heart. I mean, we know what Azer can do with an overclock, but that late beat coming out from Memes, I mean, Memes was the person, first two fights, got picked immediately. That beat was clutch. That beat was the difference maker. And now, Azer unfortunately goes down, tried to go for a flank and got caught out. And this is looking like a snowball coming out from Ashland.
Yeah, you hate to see this. I mean, I think everybody who plays Overwatch can kind of agree with this feeling, but down a man, they're going to ult in the JQ ult, and more fights are going to come out. Syracuse is going to try and take the fight, but it's not really going to work. Chanso able to use his ult in response, and they're just beaten back.
Well, and that was a huge ult coming out from Hating Father. Where's the follow-up? I mean, if Sojourner was there, maybe that's a different fight. But on the flip side, Ram ult is really strong when you don't have Lucio ult. I mean, what mitigates that, right? So we see Azer coming out on the Bastion, hoping that the massive amount of damage that Bastion can do can finally stop Ashland in their tracks.
Yeah, Syracuse going to have to try and stop the bleeding. Azer goes to the Bastion, maybe overextends a little too far and falls down. More cooldowns abilities. The window maybe a little bit questionable from Helistoma, as Syracuse is going to be wiped.
And that's going to be 4 assists and a pick coming out from Memes. Lucio doing a huge amount of work there. Syracuse's only hope now is that Law is going to be able to get this ult out. If they get the Lucio ult out, they might have a chance, but Coalescence from Ashland was going to make that real difficult.
They're going in, they're throwing everything they can. Syracuse is to try and keep this point alive. Hating Father on the ball. Bid, though, with the good shots, able to take down Lunar and Low, who, as we said, needed that beat to continue Syracuse's chance, and they're just going to get quickly wiped out. That was
an Ajax, unfortunately. I hate to see it. That was an Ajax, and
I hate to see
I mean, it looks like Ashland are just, you know, attack round merchants. I mean, that was really dominant coming out from Ashland, and it seemed as if Syracuse were kind of caught between, all right, let's save up bolts, save up bolts, save up bolts, press Q, stop this offense, and then playing aggressively. And, you know, you think about that point 2 attack. I mean, I think that first one, right when I think both tanks died, and the late beat from Memes, that was when the snowball really started.
Yeah.
And you really, you know, seeing it from Syracuse's perspective, it was the same thing as the attack. They are just being out-tempoed. They are not able to take fights on their own terms. And of course, the Bastion, as much damage as the Bastion does, you need time. You need time to set up. You need time to do your damage. It is not as quick as like a railgun, for example. Now, I think that Lucio beat that was Ajax would have done a lot. But honestly, I think Ashland had it in the bag.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, once we kind of said the words, once you were like, oh, I hope they don't start getting snowballed here, they started getting snowballed. I mean, it's Syracuse now 2 minutes. They have to go all the way. They're gonna need to play very well.
I mean, they had a great attack coming out for this for their first time, so I'm confident that both these teams just, again, they're both attack merchants. That's just what they do. Now we're gonna have the Ram coming out from Hating Father, which is a little bit of a compositional switch. They're gonna slow it down a little bit, but also is harder to expose. Of course, the Queen, incredible at able to do short-term damage, but already you're seeing how the Ram switch allows Hating Father to live for longer.
Yeah, he would have probably gone down there if not for that extra survivability he's gained. The shield's gonna come up, he's gonna get stuck behind the wall, but again, the survivability, he just doesn't die. The counter wall comes out from Lunar. Memes takes down Law, fighting the two pairs, the Lucio and the Sojourn on the high ground. Ashland are gonna come out on top of that one. Syracuse with a minute left, have to regroup.
Great defensive effort coming out from Ashland, not letting Azer take the high ground, constantly contesting. I think the pick to Law came when Law actually split off to try and help Azer, but unfortunately they didn't have the position to actually be able to hold that, and so they got punished.
Yeah, they're gonna come in though, look for a little bit more this time. Lucio getting pushed out into the open. They're gonna look for this pick. They're gonna find it. Helistoma able to finish off Lucio, but as we're talking, Memes takes down Lawson, and Azer now fighting, not Law, excuse me, but Hating Father again. Chanso, Azer, Vasuki. Looks like they should be able to clean up this.
Well, and that's how you work a flank, right? I mean, the entire front line is focused on the front. You manage to pick off the Lucio. He gets a cheeky kill on to the Mei, and of course, Ashland is thinking, May's out. All right, we got this. Front line, front line, front line. Meanwhile, Azer's in the back line. Sneaky boy manages to get a pick, and that's what ends up switching the fight in Syracuse's favor.
They are staring at a tall order. I mean, just look at all. If you're Ashland, you just kind of want to wait for all 5 ults, because all you have to do is win one fight.
Well, and the coalescence coming out is going to be difficult to deal with. I mean, you have Hilo and Azer on the high ground. They're going to be watching that. And those Mei's right clicks, right clicks, and Memes coming here to contest is going to make it difficult, but Memes gets domed by Azer. And so Syracuse have an advantage going into this fight.
But Ashland are going to even it right back up with the kill onto Lunar. The ult is going to come out from Ramatra. He's going to find Chansu now on the point. Mei fighting for her life. Moira goes down to the overclock from Harry. Like we said, you cannot fight Azer on that high ground.
I mean, sometimes when you're looking for your keys and you don't know where they are, they're in your pocket, and that was what Syracuse University felt right there. They just found their keys. I mean, it was literally that was a hectic fight, but Azer managed to pull off with some mechanical brilliance. But you're looking at 5 ults coming out from Ashland. Are they going to be able to use them well?
You're going to need to see some phenomenal solo play from Syracuse, and on this angle, on the flank, Azer and Law are going to try to get that done. Fighting now, aggressive, push in. The Blizzard is the first ult that's going to start it. Law has to respond with it, but the C9! No! It's that simple, it's the C9!
Sometimes you have to invoke the monarchy, and Charles IX just comes into the map. This is King's Row after all. Unfortunately, this is the monarchy's territory, and Ashland managed to use their summoning card to bring him in. That is absolutely tragic. You had an amazing ult coming out from Law, but Ashland, the pressure was too high. The wall coming out from Visky was too much. And, you know, this is, again, it was a close map, but you're just getting the sense that Syracuse University, not necessarily in clutch time, I actually think they've been very good in clutch time, particularly with the mechanical talent that they have. But with the game plan and with the speed at which they're playing, you know, it seems like they're kind of in Ashland's back pocket.
Yeah, it really feels like Ashland kind of has the last word on kind of all of this. But up next, we're going into a new map. We're going into Suravasa. I'm going to be honest, I am not that familiar on this map. But what do you think? Who, based on what you've seen through the first 2 maps, again, this is a best of 5. Syracuse already down, quick 2-0, looking to get the reverse sweep. What do you think? What play style do you think this map favors?
I think they need to play Maga. Anyone from QP knows when you're losing, just play Maga. I'm kidding. I mean, I'm thinking we're gonna actually see some Tracer. I mean, this is a really good Tracer map. I mean, it's at the same time. I mean, the issue again is with the speed, it's with the tempo. I think we're still going to see the Lucio Moira, which has been working so well for Ashland. I mean, the rate at which Moira is able to get ults is difficult for a BAP to match, right?
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether or not Ashland are going to come out on the Junker Queen, because and one way to think about comps is to think about how easy or difficult it is to achieve your win cons, right? And it seems like the Ram, with his survivability, is just the easier tank to play right now.
Yeah.
And so you're wondering whether or not they're going to lean into the meta, go to the Ram, you know, put up those powerful arms, shield from all that damage. But if we, I was about to say if we're gonna see a ball, but I think Varsity is a DPS player, so we're probably not gonna see ball. But I don't know. I mean, I think maybe their best chance is just to do the ram mirror. They did not look bad in the ram mirror. In fact, they didn't seem like the issues they had by not mirroring were necessarily solved with ram. So do you go to the ram? Do you go to the meta in order to ensure that your win cons are easier to achieve? I don't know.
That's the question here. Last week on Flashpoint, Syracuse played pretty well. I think they're a good Flashpoint team. I think it favors their kind of like fast, kind of looking to skill diff you in a few key matchups. Azer on the Sojourn. It's kind of what we've been known to expect. But what do you think about the Tracer Soldier here from Ashland?
I mean, to be honest, I'm looking at the Kiri. I think Kiri's been in a really interesting spot after the changes because now you don't get the 2-taps anymore for the headshots. And so it's interesting because like with Kiri, do you still go on those same flanks? Okay, who's on those flanks? Soldier. Are you going to be able to contest those flanks with Kiri? I think Kiri is a better pick than Bap, don't get me wrong. But the Soldier versus the Sojourn, I think, again, it's consistent damage over picks. If Azer takes over this lobby, I'm not even sure what Ashland can do.
I mean, I think that's what Syracuse fans are hoping for. But as we said, the Soldier going to do a good job, able to fire damage in from the backline as we start to fight for this first flashpoint. Soldier going on his own quest around the side, finds a good few headshots, but Basuki taken down by Lunar. Hating Father brought down to low HP. Supports do a good job keeping him alive. Syracuse have the man advantage here. They might be good on them to kind of push this, and they are going to put the letter in the mailbox. They speed in, they use JQ cooldowns, they force Ashland off the point, but this fight isn't over yet. Bay responds with a kill on Law. Hating Father with two quick body shots takes down the Lucio. Lunar takes down the Moira. Bit finds another one, but Hating Father will not be stopped. Hunting down this Tracer, able to find the kill and the point.
Well, and Hating Father is a kill feed merchant. I mean, that man just gets final blows. I mean, one of the interesting sort of differences between the matchups here that I think is really important, if Bit is on a flank, and you have Azer and Lunar who are more or less frontlining, two things. Chanso's going to have a harder time saving alive, but Chanso also has more things to shoot. Now, Hating Father's doing an amazing job with the ult charge, but he'd be curious to see what the tank matchup ends up looking like.
The Kitsune rush comes through. Syracuse gonna look to take the fight to Ashland fast before they can charge any of their ults. Biz able to take down Law. Luna responds. Low HP for Chanso, who ends up falling. Playing around the point. Hating Father with the knife onto the Lucio. Gets stuck by the Tracer. Taken down in response, but maybe a few too many kills are going to go Syracuse's way, and they're gonna be able to take this fight.
Well, and just all props to Helostoma. I mean, getting that Curie rush out early and quick, I mean, they can't recontest. I mean, to be honest, I'm not entirely, you know, with Servos is one of the newer maps.
Yeah.
It looks like they're going to be able to contest, but it also looks like at the moment the Soldier hasn't been doing enough damage. Helostoma already has the cleanse out and now pops ult.
Yeah, and there Syracuse just gonna kind of get away, but the anti is gonna come out on everybody. The grab, the blade from Lunar finds two. Azer picks up a third. Helostoma a fourth. The Moira Cole into the point, trying to stay alive for as long as she can, but it's not gonna go their way. Syracuse gonna get the first flash point.
Another great point coming out from Helostoma, getting 2 final blows in the end, already up to 60% up to her next ult. What an amazing combination. Between, well, not combination so much. Well, actually, between the blade and the Junker Queen ult, I mean, you can't live. Coalescence is not going to do anything, and this is where you're going to see the value of the Junker Queen come out, already getting a pick onto the opposing Genji.
Yeah, those knives are going to be so good. Hating Father seems like he's just kind of having a very, very phenomenal game, but Chanso doesn't want to be outshone. Going to try and play around this corner, get some damage in where JQ can. Again, the knife, the flashpoint comes online. We're going to have to start to fight for percent. Syracuse is going to get it first. The overclock pop by Azer, pushing through into this backline of Ashland. Isn't able to find any shots. The Genji's going to be coming in from the right. Burns the deflag. Hating Father is able to take down Chanso. The Genji falls, and that should be it as Bit takes down one, but should quickly go down to the knives.
Oh, look at that Gracie. Meanwhile, Chanso's ult took me back to the land before time. That's how early that ult came out. They must have thought that there was a chance for them to get an early pick. Meanwhile, you're wondering that entire fight. Man, wish we hit that Junker Queen ult. Not really able to, I mean, Ashland not really able to take space in the way that they'd like to. I think that, again, Helostoma's doing a great job keeping everyone up, having that Curie cleanse ready, and it seems like the Curie's getting a lot more value than the Moira is.
Yeah, and as you said that, the Kitsune Rush is going to come out. Syracuse going to try again and push the letter. The beat is going to come out from both of these teams. Hating Father takes down Memes. Lawson, or Lunar, excuse me, finds good damage onto one, cleaned up by the rest of his team. That is a wipe.
And that's a really good disengage coming out from Syracuse. I mean, Memes overextended in order to get the beat out, but his team also overextended. They didn't really have a target in mind when they ended up running into Syracuse's backline. Just ends up being a really clean fight. Yeah, both the support ults come out from Syracuse, but at the same time, they haven't really been worried about the Coalescence so far, especially given that they're coming up to the same combination that shut it down the last time they tried to pop it.
Torbjorn back from Vazuki.
Swedish Overwatch.
Let's go. This is what we've all been waiting for. I mean, we're kind of making fun of it a little, but it really did work on Kings Row. That's what kind of turned the tide. Syracuse didn't have a response. Let's see if they're able to have one here. A wonderful flank comes out from Hating Father. The flashpoint comes online, but they're too busy fighting off of it. Bit gonna start early. Takedown Law. Vasuki takes down Hating Father, and Syracuse are down a 3v5. Lunar's gonna fall, and Syracuse is gonna have to back up.
Look, I love a brave play, but it seemed like they were going to set up for the Jungle Queen ult, and they just kind of got caught out as they were mid-rotation. And of course, that's one of the differences that the Torb is going to bring.
Yeah.
Because the Torb is much more difficult to dive on. I think it's a good switch. I didn't think the Genji was getting a whole lot of value, to be honest. They're not really able to take the position that you would want, the off angles. And they also, I mean, at the moment, they don't really have the focus fire I think that you need to give the Genji value.
Yeah, and that Torb again, I feel like the Torb does a really good job just getting in Hating Father's face, but the ult is going to come in. Sojourn, low HP, no HP. That's going to start off the kill. Chanso, low HP as well. Memes is going to fall. Vasuki follows. Syracuse with a good ult. Hating Father able to kind of swing that fight.
I mean, I was talking about how this map might be decided by whether or not Azer takes over the lobby. Azer hasn't had to. Azer has... This game, Syracuse, or this map rather, Syracuse's backline has been doing God's work. I mean, pushing the tempo, getting the picks. Their ults have been coming up incredibly fast. Meanwhile, I mean, that Coalescence would pop. I mean, you know, if it was last fight, I didn't do anything this fight before I miss it. Meanwhile, we have Overclock coming in, and Syracuse is just backing out.
They are going to be smart back up, but it looks like they're going to try and go right back in with that Kitsune Rush. Helostoma finds the first pick. Azer now shooting from the heavens, finds a second, on fire, diving in. Torb turret no more. Lucio looks to be no more. That is going to happen. They are going to secure this flashpoint again as they're ticking towards 100.
I mean, back when I was making Overwatch videos on YouTube, I did a whole thing on the kill box. That's a kill box. They kited the ult, kited the overclock, and then Azer perfect positioning to make sure that every time that one of Ashland's players came in, and of course another pick on to Memes and pops the overclock. It's an ult fiesta.
Ult fiesta, Syracuse starting out on top. Actually, they're gonna finish out on top. 4 quick kills, make it 5, take the flashpoint, end the map. Syracuse looking to maybe go for, dare I say it. Actually, I won't. Don't want to cast a curse at 2-1 in a best-of-5 series. You guys do the math.
I mean, we were talking about what Syracuse needs to get back into this game. That's what they needed. They needed 3-0. They needed dominance. They needed Ashland to be overextending or on the back foot, constantly controlling the tempo. That Moira that has been an essential pick for Ashland, nothing. No value. And it seems like, I mean, it's comforting for Syracuse that in the Junker Queen mirror, how comfortable they are. And knowing when to engage and also really getting value out of Rampage. Because it didn't really seem like Ashland was getting a whole lot of value out of what is one of the best ults in the game. Honestly, commanding round coming out from Syracuse.
Exactly. Syracuse, I mean, like you said, great play from the backline. Hating Father, Azer, everybody playing good. The next map is something we are going to figure out. It is going to be Arctic Peninsula, it looks like. But first, we get to take a break. I know I am exhausted. The players need to reset. So go get some food, get some popcorn, get some water, and we will be right back. Welcome back. Syracuse Overwatch versus Ashland University. We are going into map 4. So far, the score is 2 maps to 1. Again, that is Ashland with 2, Syracuse on 1. But Syracuse just coming off. They have the momentum from that dominant Flashpoint victory.
Yeah, you're kind of wondering, I mean, is this going to be where the tides turn? And especially, I mean, you know, we were talking about maybe seeing, you know, or rather like last round was a lot of Junker Queen. It's a pretty good Junker Queen map. If there's a mirror, I mean, is Syracuse going to be able to take control the way that they did last round, or are Ashland going to come out with the ram and slow them down?
So a few things from the end of last map. So right, I am casting this in a side room. The team is right behind a glass wall from me. After that map, they were hype. I went over, I talked to them a little bit. Some few things they brought to my attention. Xiao, 80% knife accuracy. Azer, 0 deaths. They are hyped. They feel like they can do it. They feel like they can bring this back and get the reverse sweep.
And this is the matchup you want to see if you're Syracuse University. You want to see the exact same matchup that you had for last round. Lunar, by the way, did a great job on the Genji. Huge amount of value. Again, I think they love this mobility. And there's different ways to look at speed and tempo. And I know we were talking a lot about Ashland's speed in the first round, but there's a difference between the speed that like a Maywall provides you in a Ram versus the way that you can do that with a Genji. And so, I mean, if last round is any indication, Syracuse should be feeling confident.
And again, the Kiri versus the Moira just feels like the way Healistone is playing, getting so much more value. And Azer already starts the map off strong. Him and Xiao combined to take down memes. The robot isn't even unlocked yet, but Ashland are going to kind of just reset.
They might rename Gracie to just Xiao, because that was off a knife. And memes, you know, the Reddit Lucio was just caught in no man's land, getting picked off. Of course, Azer maybe getting a little bit too aggressive, maybe feeling himself a little bit too much. But look at the damage that Healistoma is doing. And as they retreat, look at the health pools of Ashland.
Yeah, they're not that healthy. Syracuse should be in the spot to counter here. And again, the right click almost takes down Shanso, but again, maybe a little bit too close to the sun. Syracuse flies, Healistoma falls. You're gonna have to wait just a little bit longer to contest.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a really clean, like a very like family-friendly Overwatch exchange. You know, Syracuse won the first fight, Ashland wins the next fight, and it looks like we're gonna have a high ground fight that now is just going into main.
I mean, the knife from Xiao. What more do you want? Maybe you would have liked that kill, but again, Ashland is scared. They know that they're just getting brutalized by hating fathers on this Junker Queen. Pushing through Azer, looking to get some damage in, playing around this high ground underneath this bridge. Vasuki's gonna be on height, gonna fire shots down on Lunar. Azer gonna get on the card and keep pushing it forward. He actually finds the kill onto Bit. So fighting from a down position is Ashland. The Cole is gonna come out, but Lunar finds Vasuki. That might be a Cole kind of set to nowhere. They back up, but hating father responds with an ult of his own. Everybody's antied. It should be an easy cleanup. Azer hating father, and all we need to do is wait for this Moira to die.
And you might think that was an expensive fight for Syracuse, but the other thing to think about is that they still have Beat, and Beat is what they're going to need for the ults that Ashland have coming up. They are actually not that close. I mean, hating father kind of just gapped Chanso, excuse me. I mean, they're gonna have
a little too French on us.
A little too French, excuse me. Sorry, I saw that. I started thinking of French castles. But already we have a re-engage coming out from B, who is playing, by the way, the Flex DPS. First time we're seeing that. Huge support coming out from Law, but let's see how they're going to use this sound barrier.
Well, the visor is going to come out from Soldier, and he's going to take down Azer. Now the sound barrier comes in, maybe a little bit too late. Working on some more ults, the barrier comes out from Ashland. The blade from Lunar dives in, able to take down one, looking for the second, just not able to find it. Chanso able to get on the good healing to take down Lunar. Now both teams are fighting kind of a weak fight, but the knife from Xiao able to disrupt the Genji in the middle of his ult, but unfortunately it's not going to matter. The Lucio and Vasuki end up all teaming up and cleaning up that fight.
I mean, I don't know if I've seen more accurate knives, if I'm being totally honest. Like, and that fight didn't go great for Syracuse, but at the same time, Beat came out a little bit late, so Azer wasn't. I mean, obviously, they went on a little bit of a wide angle to try and get value off their ult. Of course, DPS are really low right now. I don't think they're really going to push right now.
Yep.
But hating father, I mean, they're coming up on their second ult, and Chanso hasn't even used their first.
Well, right there, the first ult comes out from Chanso, and it's going to do wonderful things for Ashland. 2 kills going to come quickly off the bat. 2 more follow. Just hating fathers. He's going to go down.
Ashland saw that the Curie cleanse came out. Of course, if that cleanse was there, might have been a different fight. But I mean, again, those are the spaces where Junker Queen wants to fight. And when you have an ult advantage and you have a Junker Queen mirror, it's kind of tough. But at the same time, it's pretty easy for Syracuse to take the L and regroup around this choke.
They have hating father with the ult online. Cole is going to be up for Ashland, but the Kitsune Rush is going to be up in response. Both teams posturing around this robot. Ashland giving a little bit of space, gonna opt to take this fight, but the good push around comes in from hating father, and now these teams are going to be put into the washing machine. The Cole is gonna come out from Revelia, but Vasuki is actually dead. Kind of missed how that happened. Healstone was gonna dash up, has to pop the invuln, but the reflect from Genji, able to take down Healstone, who's traded out. But again, Revelia on the Moira responds. Hating father now dancing in throughout the team of Ashland. Azer with these shots looking for kills. Law finds one. Hating father goes down, so does Law, but Azer on this cart gonna try and just push it a little bit farther if he can before he is quickly taken care of.
Looks like there may have been a little bit of tunnel vision coming out from hating father, trying to overchase Lucio. Memes, of course, we've joked that they're, you know, Reddit Lucio, their movement is very good. So now we're going to get the Zarya. They're going to slow things down a little bit, and they're going to be a little more comfortable with the longer fights. They're saying, great, do damage, you know, do Junker Queen ult. We have the cleanses necessary to make sure that we can survive.
Yeah, again, hating father, as we said it earlier in the broadcast, commonly referred to by his team as China's gift to Zarya. Looking to take some of that momentum in, already up to 70 charge. Azer coming up on that overclock, Law coming up on the beat, but the beat is there in response from Ashland. So is the visor and the blade, and the Junker Queen ult is close to coming online. Xiao just doing all he can, getting a few kills, but overclock is gonna come through. Azer's gonna find the kill on the bit before the beat comes out, finds another kill into the flying Lucio. In response, the visor, but Azer just shuts him down, finds the triple, pushing forward, taking the rest of the space. Azer comes alive.
I mean, this is why we watch esports. On paper, that was Ashland's. They had the ult advantage. They had a great position. Varsity was on the high ground. But sometimes it's just Azer diff.
Azer diff. Now, a little piece about Azer. He loves aim training. I said this last broadcast, but what do you think college students do on a Saturday night? I'll give you the quick answer. It's doing anything but aim training, but not Azer. He is constantly on the grind, and we see Lunar now with the blade dashing in, doing great damage, takes down memes, hits Shalso down, super low HP, but in response, Bit with his own blade, Vasuki finds one with the Helix rockets. Now Bit deflects, kills Law, hating father, goes down to a little bit of a misaligned shot, and right back. Does the script flip?
I mean, a little bit of an overextension coming out from Syracuse University. Lunar got the first pick, and it seemed as if they maybe had more space that they could occupy than they really did have. Azer ends up going down. Of course, now, what I'm really interested to see is actually the Curie Rush and the Grav, because at the same time, Chanso has the Junker Queen ult, and I'm curious if they're going to use the Grav to stop the Junker Queen ult from going out.
Would be an interesting thing. The rush is going to come out. The Junker Queen ult ends up coming out, but so does the grab. Law is going to be quick to fall. Lunar, low HP, has to run away, but Azer takes down memes. Hating father responds onto Chanso. Azer again punches Genji brutally in the face as the point is cleaned up. Let's see if Syracuse can spin this into some real forward progress.
And that was a hating father fight. I mean, I think that was, you know, 3 final blows. Really amazing job. And again, you're seeing the value of what the Zarya brings. Okay, be a bit in the backline with the Genji. Oh, there's a bubble. So it doesn't matter if they're low. Again, these longer fights, this is what the Zarya provides.
Yeah, but now on the Reaper, switch to the Ramatra as well. Maybe trying to say, okay, if you want to stay alive and fight, well, we're going to pick characters that maybe could do that even better than you can. Hating father and the rest of Syracuse kind of pushed out. Now pushing behind them the cart. is Ashland running through though. Xiao, super low HP, able to get out, but Xiao, all of a sudden, 100 charge. He should be able to do massive damage. They can keep him alive. On the other side though, Azer and Law each find a kill. Memes able to take down Hating Father, but at what cost? Luna responds on a Xiao. Memes, 1 HP. Ben now dancing on the point. They were able, I think, oh, we're seeing here Azer fights. Gonna fall, cleaned up by Lunar, but look at that robot. Ashland was able to get it back.
I mean, this is another thing where it seemed as if Ashland was just used to not playing against Zarya and the amount of damage that you can do. Nemesis form went out way too early, and Hating Father did a great job doing the damage and then getting behind cover, waiting for his team to actually finish off every single kill. Varsity here is going to be on a flank. They're going to be controlling the high ground. This is going to look a little tough for Syracuse.
The visor and the coal and the beat up for Ashland in response. The blade, the overclock, the grav, the rush, and everything's kind of coming online. We're gonna see a lot of ults here. Syracuse might just kind of want to wait 30 seconds. Right now is kind of do or die. Syracuse cannot afford to be wiped right here. The ult is gonna come out from Soldier immediately. Now what is gonna be the response? Azer pops his overclock but falls to bit. Means uses the beat of his own, keeps his whole team alive. Running through, Helistoma goes down. Hating Father, Law, all fall. And 15 seconds left. They're gonna have to get up and regroup quickly.
I mean, that would have been a different fight if Law had beat. Really, I mean, the high ground advantage. I mean, I thought Syracuse University did a great job. Hey, let's not go on the robot. All right, we need to contest the high ground. That's exactly what they did. Hating Father was holding forward, but now we're looking at final fight territory, and unfortunately, Luna goes down with Blade.
The blade is popped, and immediately he falls. Azer switched to the Tracer, trying to get on the point. The grab comes through. 2 quick kills for Syracuse. The Reaper Death Blossom, though, finds Azer. This is going to be a great fight. Hating Father, 100 charge. That's already does so much damage. The beat comes out. Azer, or excuse me, Hating Father, an unstoppable killing machine, able to swing that fight, but a lot of ults for Syracuse.
I mean, there's nothing else to do. And the thing that the Curio does is also let the bubbles come back, and it seemed like, I think in the moment, maybe Ashland had forgotten how quickly those bubbles come back. Hating Father able to stay alive, able to put down the damage, and now we're seeing a switch. Azer onto the Genji and Lunar onto the Sombra.
I think what they're trying to do, again, Azer does play Genji. He has a very good Genji. Lunar is kind of more the Sombra player here. I think maybe if they can just try and catch Ashland unawares with a nice switch of pace, switch of composition, that's what they're looking for. It's all going to come down to this final fight. Again, Syracuse down 2-1 in the series. They need to win this if they want to bring it to a game 5. But coming in fast is Chanso with his ult. He pops that 100 charge. Zarya is going to fall. That can spell doom for Syracuse. Helistoma, Lunar, all fall. Either Law, all of the team is wiped. Ashland able to claw back and take the series 3-1.
And that was playing around your win cons. I mean, they knew Annihilation just a little bit too strong, especially with Sombra, whatever, slows down the game, not able to get the hack off. But even if that does happen, how do you kill a Ram in the middle of their ult, even with the amount of charge? This, of course, is an amazing play coming out from Azer. And, you know, it was really great to see the different compositional switch coming out from these teams, always adapting to each other, trying to find little advantages here and there. The Reaper came out, they switched to the Ram, but in the end, Ashland takes the cake.
Ashland takes the cake again to kind of put the Syracuse playoff perspective, the playoff dreams, I guess, into perspective. It was kind of a three-way competition between Syracuse, Ashland, and one other team at the top of the leaderboard. This loss to Ashland is going to mean that they pretty much all but need to win their game next week if they want to try and fight for a chance in the LCQs, the limited qualifiers, to sneak into the playoffs. Ashland are sitting pretty now with the 1 seed, I'm pretty sure, wrapped up in their hands. You know, bit of a heartbreaker there for Syracuse.
I mean, it really was, especially given how dominant their serve also was, right? You were really hoping they were going to come back in, make a big comeback, but at the same time, really a lot of bright points coming out from Syracuse here. I mean, I thought that every player in every role had moments where they were really shining. Obviously, the mechanical brilliance is there. It really just seems a matter of, I don't know, maybe knowing when to take fights and being able to be in control of the tempo. I mean, the other thing I want to shout out Syracuse for is we saw a lot of Ram coming out from Ashland. I mean, Ram is really one of the meta tanks right now. props to them. I mean, they played Ram once and they still did a really good job. I mean, they were competitive all throughout, even though it was a 3-1. This was some exciting Overwatch.
It was some exciting Overwatch, but unfortunately, as we are kind of Syracuse fans here, it is not the result that we hoped for. That is gonna just about do it for this broadcast. I thank you guys all so much for watching. Knuckles, it was an honor to cast with you. Also, we cannot forget about the wonderful, wonderful production crew behind the scenes, Teddy and Sharp. None of this would be possible without them, without High Ground, without Kobe helping to facilitate this. We, above all, are happy that we were able to bring you this exciting Overwatch map, although it didn't go quite the way we wanted. So with that, thank you all for tuning in to the broadcast. And I think we are going to raid from the High Ground channel, but that is going to be all. We will see you later.